Lesson 1. The river never rushes. The river does not rush, yet it arrives. Through mountains and valleys, it flows with grace, not haste. So why do you chase what is already on its way to you? Like the river, your journey is not meant to be forced. Trust the flow of time. Trust that what is meant for you is already finding its path. Tonight, breathe, let go of urgency, and know slow is not lost. Slow is sacred. Lesson 2. The candle that lights others. In the quiet of night, remember this. A candle loses nothing by lighting another flame. The more light you give, the brighter the world becomes. Generosity is not weakness, it is ancient strength. The wise gave without counting, and in return, they found peace. You are not empty because you give. You are filled by the act of giving. Let that thought warm you tonight. You carry a flame the world needs, and it will never go out by sharing. I'm done. Lesson 3. Even the moon takes time to become whole. Look up, even the moon grows slowly. Night by night, it shapes itself into fullness. Never rushing, never ashamed. Why then do you expect yourself to be perfect so quickly? The ancients watched the moon and understood. Wholeness is not a race, it is a rhythm. Some nights you'll shine bright, others you'll fade into shadow, but no phase lasts forever. Rest tonight knowing your light is returning, slowly, steadily, surely. Lesson 4. The tree stands because it learned to bend. The oak tree is strong, but not because it resists the wind. It stands tall because it learned how to bend. Ancient wisdom says it's not strength that survives the storm, but flexibility. Your struggles are not signs of weakness. They are winds shaping your roots. Bend, but do not break. Adapt, but stay grounded. Tonight, release the weight of trying to control it all. Like the tree, trust your roots and let the winds pass. Lesson 5. Silence holds the answers words cannot give. In a world of noise, silence is a forgotten treasure. The wise ones knew the truth speaks most clearly in stillness. Not every question needs an answer tonight. Not every wound needs to be solved right now. Some things only make sense in quiet. Let the silence wrap around you like a soft blanket. Breathe deeply and listen, not with your ears, but with your soul. The peace you seek isn't lost. It's simply waiting for you to be quiet enough to hear it. Lesson 6. What you chase runs. What you welcome stays. Ancient sages whisper a truth many forget. The more you chase peace, the farther it runs. The more you chase love, the more it hides. But when you become still, when you open your hands instead of clenching your fists, what is meant for you begins to return. Tonight, don't chase answers. Don't beg for sleep. Instead, welcome it. Create space with your breath, your stillness, your surrender. Let things find you. Not because you force them, but because your soul has become a safe place for them to stay. Lesson 7. The strongest walls are built within. Long ago, warriors were taught this. The greatest fortress is not made of stone, but of spirit. The world may shake, people may change, but if your inner walls are strong, nothing outside can truly break you. You don't need to fight every battle. Sometimes your calm is your shield. Sometimes your silence is your sword. As you rest tonight, remember, you are safest not in the noise, but in the quiet castle of your soul. Lesson 8. The fire within was meant to warm you, not burn you. Every soul carries a fire. The ancients called it purpose, spirit, divine breath. But fire, uncontrolled, becomes destruction. Burnout is not bravery. Exhaustion is not a badge. The wise tended their inner flame like a sacred lamp, not too dim, not too wild. Tonight, ask yourself, Am I feeding my fire, or am I letting it consume me? Rest is not weakness. It is how you keep your flame alive, gently glowing through the darkness. Lesson 9. The sky never apologizes for its changing colors. Sunrise, sunset, storm, stars. The sky never stays the same, and yet it never doubts its worth. Ancient wisdom says the soul, like the sky, must be allowed to change. You are not broken because you feel different today. You are not weak because you're softer than you were yesterday. Let your moods pass like clouds. Let your emotions shift like dusk and dawn. You don't owe the world a constant version of yourself. You only owe yourself the freedom to be real. Tonight, rest in that freedom. Let yourself just be. Lesson 10. The wise walk slowly even when they're late. In the old world, the sages walked slowly, not because they had nowhere to be, but because they valued each step. Hurry makes you miss the meaning. Speed steals presence. Even when the world pushes you to rush, wisdom invites you to slow down, to breathe, to observe, to live. Tonight, you are not late. You are not behind. You are exactly where your soul is meant to pause. Let this be your still moment, a quiet rebellion against the chaos of time. Lesson 11. Let the dust settle before you decide. The ancients taught, never judge the sky while the storm is still passing. Never decide in anger. Never speak in fear. Let the dust settle. Let the heart soften. Wisdom isn't loud. It waits patiently in the quiet that follows. Tonight, let your thoughts rest. You don't need to have all the answers right now. Sleep is not avoidance. It's preparation. Let the storm pass. In the morning, the path will be clearer because your soul will be still. Lesson 12. You are not what you've survived. You are what you've chosen to become. The old ones knew scars are not shameful. They are proof that you lived through the fire and kept walking. But survival is only the beginning. True strength lies not in what hurt you, but in what you built afterward. You are not your wounds. You are your will. Tonight, let your pain rest. Let your story be more than survival. Because in the quiet of night, healing begins with a choice to no longer be defined by what broke you, but by what you chose to become. Lesson 13. Water teaches us to yield without giving up. Watch the stream. It doesn't fight the rock. It flows around it. It doesn't argue with gravity. It follows it with grace. The ancients revered water for this reason. It yields, but it never surrenders. You don't have to fight everything. You can bend. You can adapt. That doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're wise. Tonight, let yourself soften. Flow around your worries, not through them. Like water, you're still moving forward, just in the quietest way possible. Lesson 14. Not every door is meant for you to enter. The elders taught, some doors remain closed not to punish you, but to protect you. Life is wise in ways we cannot see. When something doesn't open, it's not always rejection. Sometimes it's redirection. Your path is not delayed, just refined. You haven't failed. You've been guided. Tonight, release the doors you kept knocking on. Rest in the mystery of what's unfolding. The right door won't need to be forced. It will open when your soul is ready to walk through it. Lesson 15. The mountain doesn't apologize for its stillness. The mountain doesn't move, and yet it changes the sky. It doesn't chase anything, and yet everything flows around it. The ancient ones honored stillness, not as idleness, but as power. In stillness, clarity grows. In stillness, storms pass without taking root in you. Tonight, be like the mountain. Let your breath be steady, your heart grounded. You don't have to chase peace. You are allowed to become it. Be still and let the world adjust around your calm. Lesson 16. The wound is where the light begins. The sages whispered what the broken often forget. The wound is not the end of your story. It is the opening where the light finds its way in. Pain softens the hard places. Loss clears the clutter. What hurts today may teach you forever. Do not fear your brokenness. It's where your soul begins to breathe. Tonight, rest without trying to be whole. Let the cracks remain, because even the stars are born from darkness and shine through fractures in the sky. Lesson 17. The wise do not shout to be heard. In ancient times, it was said, the loudest voice often knows the least. True wisdom doesn't fight for attention. It waits to be found. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to raise your voice to matter. The mountain does not shout, yet all bow before its silence. Tonight, let your value rest in your presence, not your performance. Be calm, be quiet, be sure. You are enough, even when you say nothing at all. Lesson 18. Time is a circle, not a race. The ancient ones never rushed, because they understood something we've forgotten. Time is not a line you run along. It's a circle you live within. Seasons return, lessons repeat. Growth spirals inward before it shines outward. You are not behind. You are simply turning through your season. The flowers don't bloom all year, and still, no one doubts their beauty. Tonight, release the pressure to catch up. You are not late. You are becoming exactly on time. Lesson 19. You do not have to carry it all tonight. The elders would sit by the fire and remind the weary, even the earth rests beneath the moon. Even the stars take turns shining. You were never meant to carry everything at once. What's heavy today can be placed down tonight. Wisdom isn't in holding on, but in knowing when to let go, even if just for a while. So breathe. Set your burdens beside the bed like shoes, and remind your soul, it's okay to rest now. The weight will still be there tomorrow, but you won't carry it the same. Lesson 20. The answer often arrives after the question is forgotten. The wise ones never rushed to solve life's puzzles. They knew some truths bloom in silence, not in searching. The answer doesn't always come when you demand it. It arrives gently when you've stopped looking so hard. Like a feather falling in still air. Like rain after a long silence. Tonight, stop trying to figure it all out. Let the questions go. Sleep not because everything is clear, but because peace often comes before clarity. Lesson 21. The seed doesn't doubt the darkness. Deep in the soil, where no light reaches, the seed waits. It doesn't panic. It doesn't question. It trusts the dark, because that's where roots grow. The ancients knew, not all darkness is danger. Some darkness is sacred. It is where transformation begins. Tonight, if you feel buried, remember, you are not lost. You are planted. Rest, knowing your growth is already happening, even if you can't yet see the bloom. Lesson 22. A calm mind sees what a tired one cannot. The elders would wait until the water stilled before peering into it, because only in stillness does the reflection become clear. Your mind is no different. When it's restless, it distorts truth. When it's calm, it understands. You don't have to solve everything tonight. You just need rest, because rest sharpens vision. Let your thoughts slow. Let your breath deepen. The answers will come, not in the noise, but in the calm that follows. And tonight, that calm is here for you. Lesson 23. The fruit takes time after the flower falls. In nature, beauty is not the end. It is the beginning. The flower blooms, and then it falls. Only then does the fruit begin to form, hidden, quiet, unseen. The ancient ones knew. Progress is not always visible. Just because you don't see results doesn't mean they aren't growing. Tonight, let that truth comfort you. Your bloom may have passed, but your fruit is on the way. Trust the unseen. Trust the slow ripening of things. Your harvest is coming, quietly, steadily, in its own time. Lesson 24. Peace is found when you stop arguing with reality. The old philosophers would say, suffering begins where resistance begins. The river doesn't argue with the stone. The tree doesn't beg the wind to change direction. And yet, we spend our energy fighting what already is. Peace isn't found in changing the world. It's found in accepting the moment. Tonight, stop wrestling with what can't be undone. Release your grip. Let the night be what it is. Dark, quiet, and full of things you don't have to fix. Peace is here, the moment you stop pushing it away. Lesson 25. The wise keep their hearts soft, even after the breaking. The ancient souls were not wise because they avoided pain. They were wise because they let pain shape them, not harden them. A heart that stays soft after breaking holds the deepest kind of strength. Anyone can shut down. Anyone can build walls. But it takes courage to feel again, to trust again, to love again. Tonight, let your heart exhale. It doesn't have to be guarded in the dark. Your softness is not a flaw. It's your most sacred truth. Let it stay open, even here. Lesson 26. The path reveals itself only one step at a time. The old sages never demanded to see the full road. They took one step, then trusted the next would appear. Life doesn't hand you the whole map, only the courage to keep moving forward. The unknown is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Tonight, let go of the need to know it all. You are not lost, just walking a sacred path that unfolds slowly. Rest in that mystery. The light will find you, one step at a time. And your feet already know where to go. Lesson 27. The moon does not compete with the stars. The moon never tries to outshine the stars, and yet it's impossible to ignore. In the ancient world, this was a lesson in self-trust. You do not need to compare. You do not need to compete. You were never meant to be someone else's reflection. Your glow is enough, in your own season, in your own sky. Tonight, release the weight of comparison. You are not falling behind. You are simply orbiting your own beautiful timing, quietly radiant, perfectly placed. Lesson 28. The heart hears what the mind talks over. In ancient teachings, the heart was considered wiser than the mind. The mind analyzes, calculates, plans, but the heart simply knows. When life gets too loud, you don't need more thinking, you need more listening. Not outward, but inward. Tonight, let your thoughts fade into the background. Let your heart speak, softly, wordlessly, like a breeze moving through trees. In this silence, your truest voice will rise, and it will never lie to you. Lesson 29. Still water reflects the deepest truths. The ancients watched water to understand the self. When it was stirred, it distorted the image. But when it was still, it became a mirror. Your mind is the same. When it races, you lose your reflection. When it calms, you remember who you are. Tonight, let the waves settle. Don't chase clarity. Allow it to return on its own. In stillness, your truth will rise, quiet, clear, and unwavering. Lesson 30. The wind teaches us to let go without seeing where it goes. The wind moves freely, never clinging, never fearing where it's headed. It lets go of every place it touches, without regret. The ancient ones learned from the wind. Not everything is meant to be held forever. Some things come to teach, then leave. Some people enter to awaken, then drift away. Tonight, release what was never meant to stay. You don't need to know where it goes. You just need to trust that letting go is part of becoming light again. Lesson 31. Rest is not a pause. it is a sacred practice. In ancient times, rest was not seen as weakness, it was seen as wisdom. The body needs rest. The mind needs stillness. But most importantly, the soul needs space to return to itself. You are not falling behind by slowing down. You are remembering how to be whole. Tonight, treat rest not as something you earn, but as something you deserve. Let it be sacred. Let it be healing. Because becoming begins not with action, but with stillness. Lesson 32. You don't have to shine to be valuable. The stars are always in the sky, even when we can't see them. Their worth doesn't depend on visibility, only existence. The ancient ones knew, you are not your productivity. You are not your performance. You are worthy simply because you are. Tonight, if you feel unseen, rest anyway. Your light is still real. Your presence still matters. Even in your quietest hours, you are enough. Lesson 33. The soil looks empty before growth begins. The ancients never feared the bare earth. They knew that what seems empty is often quietly alive beneath the surface. Your life may feel still. It may feel like nothing is happening. But deep beneath the quiet, roots are forming. Strength is gathering. And change is preparing to rise. Tonight, don't mourn the stillness. Embrace it. Because what looks like waiting is often just unseen becoming. Lesson 34. The soul speaks in whispers, not shouts. The old masters knew, wisdom rarely arrives in thunder. It comes in a whisper, quiet, steady, sacred. But to hear it, you must first quiet the world within. Your soul has been speaking all along, through your longings, your stillness, even your discomfort. Tonight, listen, not with your ears, but with your presence. The answers you seek are not loud, they are soft, and they've been waiting patiently for you to slow down enough to hear them. Lesson 35. The flower does not open all at once. The blossom unfolds petal by petal, never all at once, and never in a hurry. The ancient ones watched the garden and learned. Growth is not a burst. It is a gentle unfurling. You do not need to rush into wholeness. You do not need to force clarity, love, or purpose. Tonight, give yourself permission to open slowly, to bloom gently, and to trust that every soft layer is part of something beautiful becoming. Lesson 36. Sometimes doing nothing is the most sacred act. In the ancient world, stillness was not laziness, it was presence. The body needs pause, the spirit needs silence. To do nothing is sometimes the deepest form of healing. You do not need to earn rest with exhaustion. You do not need to explain your stillness. Tonight, let yourself be. Not productive, not busy, not improving, just being. Because in those quiet spaces, your soul finally remembers itself. Lesson 37. The moon teaches us to embrace our phases. The moon is not always full, and yet it is always whole. Some nights it glows bright, others it hides in shadow. The ancients looked up and understood. You too will have phases, times of energy and times of retreat, nights of radiance and days of quiet. None of them make you less. Tonight, let the moon remind you, you don't have to shine to be complete. Lesson 38. What you resist will persist. The ancient mystics knew, energy flows where attention goes. The more you push a thought away, the tighter it clings. The more you fear a feeling, the louder it echoes. Resistance is a kind of feeding. But when you allow, observe, accept, that which once haunted you begins to fade. Peace is not the absence of pain. It's the freedom to let it pass through. Tonight, stop wrestling your mind. Let it move. Let it rest. Let it be. Lesson 39. Still water reflects the truth. In the old world, sages sat by rivers not to escape, but to understand. They watched how moving water distorts the reflection. But when it's still, it mirrors the world as it truly is. Your mind is no different. When stirred by noise, fear, or desire, it deceives. But in stillness, it becomes a mirror. Tonight, let your thoughts settle. No fixing, no forcing. Just be still and see what truth rises from the quiet. Lesson 40. Not everything deserves a reaction. The wise didn't waste energy on every whisper, every shadow, every stone thrown. They knew silence can be strength. Peace is lost when we react to everything. And sometimes the greatest power is restraint. You don't need to prove, to fix, to fight every moment. Let some things pass. Let others reveal themselves. Not everything is yours to carry. Tonight, practice sacred stillness. Let the world move while you rest in your center. Lesson 41. What you chase runs away. The old mystics said, desire is fire. The more you feed it, the more it burns. The tighter you cling, the faster it slips through your fingers. This is the paradox. When you chase happiness, it hides. When you chase love, it escapes. But when you are still, when you are enough, these things find you. So tonight, stop running. Let go of the chase. Rest in the knowing. What is truly yours will never need to be chased. Lesson 42. True strength is gentle. The ancient warriors knew the strongest hands are the ones that know when not to strike. The loudest voice isn't always the wisest, and the fiercest power is control over the self. Gentleness isn't weakness. It's the mark of one who has faced storms and chooses not to become one. You don't need to roar to be powerful. You don't need to fight to prove you're strong. Rest in your gentleness tonight. That is your quiet strength. Lesson 43. The quiet mind sees everything clearly. In the noise, nothing is seen, but when the waters are still, the reflection is clear. The sages knew, clarity does not come from thinking harder. It comes from thinking less. When your mind is loud, truth gets buried. But in stillness, wisdom rises. Breathe deeply now. Let your thoughts slow, like leaves drifting on a quiet pond. You don't need to figure it all out tonight. Just be still and see. Lesson 44. What you seek is already within you. For centuries, travelers crossed deserts, climbed mountains, and sailed endless seas, all to find what they believed they lacked. But the wisest ones stayed still and looked inward. You are not broken. You are not missing anything. The love you crave, the strength you long for, the answers you seek, all of it lives quietly inside you. Covered perhaps, but never lost. Sleep tonight knowing you are already whole. Lesson 45. Let go or be dragged. The ancient masters didn't cling, not to anger, not to pride, not even to joy. They knew what stays, stays. What goes, must go. Holding on too tightly is like gripping thorns. The more you resist, the more it hurts. Release your grip. Breathe out the weight of what no longer serves you. Tonight, surrender your past, your fears, your need to control. Peace only enters hands that are open. Let go now and drift. Lesson 46. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. The ancients knew that the fiercest battles are not fought on fields, but within. Not against armies, but against ego, fear, and desire. Conquering others may bring applause, but conquering yourself brings peace. Discipline is the quiet sword, patience is the unshakable shield, and awareness is the warrior's calm. Tonight, lay down the need to impress or prove. Simply be the master of your breath, your mind, your choices. The strongest soul is the one at rest with itself. Lesson 47. A tree grows silent yet reaches the sky. Look at the tallest tree. It never shouts, never rushes. Yet, day by day, it grows. Upward, unshaken. Its strength lies in stillness, its wisdom in patience. You too are growing, quietly. Not every step will be seen, not every victory celebrated, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. Tonight, release the pressure to be loud. Let your silence speak your becoming. And remember, the roots grow deep before the rise begins. Lesson 48. The river does not argue with the rocks. The river does not complain when it meets stone. It bends, it flows, it continues. Life will place obstacles in your path, some sharp, some stubborn, but wisdom teaches. Resistance is not always strength. Sometimes, real power is knowing when to flow around, to pause, to change direction. You do not have to fight everything. Let peace be your guide. And tonight, allow your soul to flow like water, calm, steady, unstoppable. Lesson 49. The empty cup holds the most potential. A full cup cannot receive more, but an empty one is ready for everything. The wise do not cling to what they know. They make space for new truth, deeper understanding, greater peace. Ego says, I already understand. Wisdom whispers, there is always more to learn. Tonight, empty your mind. Release the noise, the knowing, the need to control. Become the cup and let stillness fill you. Lesson 50. The moon teaches us to shine in darkness. The moon has no light of its own, yet it lights up the night sky. It reflects the sun, even when the sun is nowhere to be seen. In your darkest moments, remember, you too can shine by reflecting what's good, even when you feel empty. Kindness, hope, love, they don't need to originate in you. Let them pass through you. Be the moon. Be the light in someone's darkness. Lesson 51. The strongest trees grow in the harshest winds. The tallest, strongest trees you see weren't raised in gentle breezes, but in storms that shook their roots. The winds made them bend, but they didn't break. Life will test you. It will blow hard, but those winds are not your enemy. They are shaping you. Strength doesn't come from comfort. It comes from resistance. Let the wind come. You're becoming a giant. Lesson 52. He who masters himself is greater than he who conquers a city. You can conquer nations, lead armies, rule empires. But if you can't rule your mind, your victories are hollow. The real battlefield is within. Your anger, your ego, your fear. Those are your enemies. Master them, and you'll walk through storms untouched. Self-mastery is the rarest form of greatness, and the only kind that lasts. Lesson 53. Don't chase butterflies. Build a garden. The more you chase, the more things run. Love, peace, happiness, they're not caught. They're attracted. So stop the endless pursuit. Instead, build a life so beautiful, those things arrive naturally. Cultivate patience. Water your habits. Pull out the weeds of doubt. When you become the garden, the butterflies come to rest. That's how nature works, and so does life. Lesson 54. True freedom begins within. Chains aren't always made of iron. Sometimes they're made of guilt, fear, and what others think. You could live in a free country and still be imprisoned by your mind. True freedom isn't found in escape. It's found in mastery. Master your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions. Because when nothing controls you, you finally control your life. And that is freedom. Lesson 55. The quiet ones often hold the deepest wisdom. In a world loud with opinions, silence becomes rare and sacred. The loudest voice doesn't always carry the truth. It's the quiet observer, the one who listens, who watches, who thinks, who often understands what others miss. Their wisdom is not in volume, but in depth. So the next time someone speaks softly, listen closely. You may be hearing the voice of a soul who has truly seen life. Lesson 56. Time is the greatest sculptor of the soul. Time doesn't just pass. It carves. It wears down arrogance, sharpens clarity, and molds patience. The person you are today is not by accident, but by slow, invisible shaping. Every joy added a curve, every loss a chisel, and the longer you live with awareness, the more beautiful your inner form becomes. Trust time. Even when it hurts, it's refining you into someone wiser. Lesson 57. You don't heal by ignoring the pain. You heal by facing it. Suppressing pain doesn't silence it. It buries it alive. True healing begins when you sit with the discomfort, not escape it. The tears, the rage, the loneliness, they're not enemies, they're messengers. When you stop running, you'll hear what your soul has been trying to say, and only then does the wound begin to close, not with force, but with truth. Feel it, face it, free it. Lesson 58. People don't change for you, they change for themselves. You can beg, you can cry, you can give them your everything. But if someone isn't ready to change, nothing you do will ever be enough. Real transformation doesn't come from guilt or pressure. It comes from within. Love them, yes, but don't lose yourself trying to fix them. Because the harsh truth is, people only change when they decide to, not when you want them to. Lesson 59. The strongest people cry in silence. They smile in public and collapse behind closed doors. Not because they're weak, but because they carry burdens no one else sees. They choose silence not out of pride, but because they don't want to be a burden. Remember, just because someone looks fine doesn't mean they are. The quiet ones often fight the loudest wars. Lesson 60. You outgrow people when you grow within. Growth changes your energy, and not everyone will vibe with the new you. You'll outgrow people who stay the same, who mock your dreams, belittle your mindset, or want the old version of you that was easy to control. That's not loss, that's alignment. You're not becoming better than them, you're just becoming better for yourself. Lesson 61. Not every battle deserves your sword. You don't have to respond to every insult. You don't have to correct every misunderstanding. Your peace is more powerful than your reaction. Let people think what they want. Silence is sometimes the loudest answer. Wisdom is knowing when to fight and when to walk away with your dignity untouched. Lesson 62. Jealousy is just admiration tainted by insecurity. When someone envies you, it's not really about you. It's about what they feel they lack. Jealousy is admiration poisoned by self-doubt. Don't take it personally. Let their envy remind you you're doing something worth noticing. And instead of dimming your light, shine brighter. Lesson 63. Time reveals everything. Be patient. The truth doesn't rush, it waits. Time has a brutal way of exposing lies and revealing real intentions. You don't need to seek revenge, closure, or answers. Just keep your peace and walk forward. Eventually, everything that's fake will crumble, and everything that's real will stand tall. Lesson 64. Don't beg for love. If it's real, it won't hurt you. Love should never feel like a battlefield. If you constantly have to chase, prove, or beg, it's not love. It's emotional starvation. Real love won't confuse you. It won't belittle you. It nurtures. It calms. It respects. Stop chasing what wounds you. Start choosing what heals you. Lesson 65. When you learn to be alone, you stop tolerating half love. Loneliness teaches what company never could. When you make peace with your own presence, you stop accepting relationships that feel like survival. You stop clinging to crumbs. Because once you've tasted solitude, you'll never again settle for noise that drowns your peace. Alone isn't empty, it's powerful. Lesson 66. People don't abandon you, they abandon themselves first. Most people don't leave you because of who you are. They leave because they can't face who they are. Insecure minds run when love demands growth. They sabotage, not because you're too much, but because they feel too little. They weren't rejecting you. They were escaping their own reflection. Lesson 67. If they talk about others with you, they'll talk about you with others. Gossip is a mirror. What they show you is who they are. The one whispering secrets in your ear today will whisper yours to someone else tomorrow. Loyalty isn't proven in friendship. It's proven in silence. Be careful with open ears and closed morals. Trust what they say about others, because you're next. Lesson 68. The more you chase, the more you lose. Desperation pushes what you want further away. Whether it's love, success, or attention, chasing too hard destroys value. The moment you stop running and start growing, things align. Attraction is rooted in confidence, not in pursuit. Let it come to you while you build yourself. Lesson 69. If you're not willing to look stupid, you'll never do anything great. Every genius looked foolish until they didn't. Every dream starts in mockery and misunderstanding. If you're too afraid to fail publicly, you'll never rise privately. Greatness demands courage, not comfort. Be brave enough to be laughed at today, so they applaud you tomorrow. Lesson 70. The best revenge is living well and moving on. Don't waste your energy proving someone wrong. Prove yourself right. Silence hits harder than 1,000 words. Success that comes without bitterness is the loudest victory. Let them wonder how you healed so beautifully. Your peace is the revenge they never saw coming. Lesson 71. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. Don't expect peace where chaos lives. Growth often begins the moment you walk away. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is leave, mentally, emotionally, or physically. Healing demands space, not just time. You weren't weak for staying, but you'll be strong for leaving. Lesson 72. Confidence isn't loud, it's quiet power. Real confidence doesn't need to shout. It walks in, calm and certain, without needing approval. It's not the one who speaks the most, but the one who doesn't fear silence. Loudness often hides insecurity. Quiet strength reveals mastery. Be the one who doesn't need to prove, just knows. Lesson 73. Time doesn't heal. Understanding does. They say time heals all wounds, but that's a lie. Time just makes you forget the pain, not the lesson. What truly heals is understanding, why it happened, what it taught you, and how you grew. Healing isn't forgetting, it's learning. And wisdom is the scar that stays to remind you. Lesson 74. Weak people revenge, strong people forgive, wise people ignore. When you're hurt, your first instinct is revenge, but revenge keeps you chained to the pain. Forgiveness frees your heart, but wisdom frees your mind. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Not everything deserves your energy, especially not your peace. Lesson 75. A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. They'll talk, they'll judge, they'll doubt, but a lion walks with pride, not permission. When you know your power, noise becomes background. Greatness isn't built on approval. It's built on silence, action, and unshakable focus. Lesson 76. The world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards execution. You can dream all day. You can talk about your goals, write them down, visualize them, share them, even pray over them. But until you act, none of it matters. The world doesn't pay you for what you meant to do. It pays you for what you actually did. Your excuses might sound reasonable to you, but life is deaf to excuses. It only responds to effort, consistency, and results. So stop romanticizing the idea stage. Start building. Start moving. Or someone else with half your talent but twice your discipline will leave you behind. Execution is the language of the successful. Talk less, prove more. Lesson 77. People only remember how you made them feel, not what you said. You can be the most intelligent person in the room. You can speak with elegance, logic, and clarity. But none of it will matter if your presence leaves people feeling small, judged, or unseen. Words fade, feelings linger. People won't quote your speech, but they'll remember if you inspired them, belittled them, ignored them, or lifted them up. Want to be unforgettable? Make people feel respected. Make them feel heard. Make them feel important, even for a moment. That's real power. That's real leadership. That's how legends are born, not through ego, but empathy. Lesson 78. If they're not clapping for you now, don't invite them to your celebration later. Remember, who doubted you when you needed belief the most? Who went silent when you were trying to rise? Who watched you struggle and said nothing? Not out of busyness, but bitterness. Your success will expose people. Friends will turn into ghosts. Family will suddenly not understand you. And fake supporters will resurface only after the lights are on. Don't be bitter, but be smart. When the tables turn, and they will, don't forget who wasn't there. When you had nothing but a vision and sleepless nights, protect your table. Not everyone deserves a seat. Lesson 79. Sometimes the people closest to you are praying you fail, just so they feel better about never trying. They smile in your face, say, "I'm proud of you," but deep inside, they're drowning in their own regret, and your progress reminds them of everything they never had the guts to chase. They don't hate you. They hate your courage. They hate your fire. They hate that you're doing what they never dared to even dream. Watch their energy. Feel the silence after your wins. Catch the fake support hidden in passive jokes. Their envy is loud, even in their silence. So stay sharp, stay distant, and keep building. You weren't born to dim your light for people who live in the dark by choice. Lesson 79. Sometimes the people closest to you are praying you fail, just so they feel better about never trying. They smile in your face, say, "I'm proud of you," but deep inside, they're drowning in their own regret. And your progress reminds them of everything they never had the guts to chase. They don't hate you. They hate your courage. They hate your fire. They hate that you're doing what they never dared to even dream. Watch their energy. Feel the silence after your wins. Catch the fake support hidden in passive jokes. Their envy is loud, even in their silence. So stay sharp, stay distant, and keep building. You weren't born to dim your light for people who live in the dark by choice. Seriously. Lesson 81. You can't heal in the same environment that made you sick. You keep going back, hoping things will be different. Same people, same patterns, same pain. But the truth is, you can't grow in a place that feeds your wounds. That room you keep walking into, it doesn't feel heavy by accident. Those people, they don't mean well. They manipulate. Healing requires distance. It requires courage to walk away, to choose peace over history, to break the cycle, even if it means being alone for a while. You're not weak for leaving. You're strong for finally choosing yourself. Lesson 82. Not everyone you lose is a loss. Some people leave, and it feels like oxygen returns to the room. The silence they leave behind is peaceful, not empty. They weren't your friends. They were just close enough to hurt you, just loud enough to distract you, just present enough to drain you. Let them go. You're not meant to carry people who never clap for you. You're not obligated to bleed for those who wouldn't even bruise for you. Their exit was a gift. Now you can rise. Lighter, clearer, stronger. Lesson 83. Stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Some people don't want clarity. They want control. They twist your words, mock your truth, and feed on your frustration. You could hand them your heart, and they'd still say it's not enough. So stop wasting energy on closed minds. Your value doesn't shrink in their blindness. You don't need their approval to be authentic. Walk away. Let your silence do the talking, and let your growth make the noise. Lesson 84. Sometimes peace looks like losing people you once begged to stay. You begged. You lowered your standards. You tried to explain your soul to someone who only heard their ego. But the more you held on, the more it hurt. Then one day, you let go. Not because you stopped caring, but because you started healing. And that's when peace showed up. Not loud, not dramatic, just calm. Sometimes losing people is exactly how you find yourself. Lesson 85. You don't destroy your enemies by fighting them. You destroy them by outgrowing them. They want your reaction. They thrive on pulling you into their chaos. But here's the truth. Battles don't build kings. Focus does. The moment you stop explaining, stop defending, stop caring, you rise. Not because they're gone, but because you've outgrown the level where they still live. Real revenge, success. Silence, elevation. Lesson 86. Most people don't hate you. They just hate that they couldn't break you. You didn't fold. You didn't cry in front of them. You didn't give them the satisfaction of watching you fall apart. They tried to shake you, but you got quieter. They tried to ruin your name, but you got better. They tried to turn people against you, but you stood alone and smiled. That's not arrogance. That's survival. That's power. Lesson 87. Some people only love you when they need you. When they're down bad, they call you. When they're lonely, they text you. When they're desperate, they remember your name. But the moment they're back on their feet, gone. Busy. Silent. Stop confusing convenience with love. You weren't their person. You were their backup plan. Lesson 88. People don't abandon you. They just stop pretending. The truth is, they were never really there. They were playing a role, wearing a mask, saying all the right things until it no longer served them. Abandonment feels sudden, but it's not. It's the final act of a slow betrayal. When they stop pretending, the truth finally shows, and it hurts. But it also frees you. Lesson 89. The world doesn't reward intentions. It rewards execution. You can dream, you can plan, you can mean well. But if you don't move, if you don't do, the world moves on without you. Ideas don't win, actions do. Nobody claps for the one who almost tried. Lesson 90. If it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. No amount of money, love, or success is worth losing your mind. If you're constantly anxious, drained, or doubting yourself, that's not ambition. That's self-destruction in disguise. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Lesson 91. If you keep saving people who are drowning themselves, they'll pull you under too. You can love them, you can pray for them, but you can't carry people who refuse to walk. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is let them face their own storm, because dragging you into it won't save them. It'll only destroy you both. Lesson 92. The more you chase people, the more they run. Respect is never earned by begging. Attention that must be demanded is not real. And love that needs to be chased isn't love at all. It's ego bait. When you walk away with dignity, they'll feel your absence louder than your presence ever screamed. Lesson 93. People respect silence more than complaints. The loudest person is rarely taken seriously. The one who speaks less but acts with intention, that's the one the world watches. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. Let your growth make the noise. Lesson 94. Most people love you until you stop needing them. Help them once, you're a savior. Help them twice, you're expected. Stop helping, now you're selfish. Truth is, their loyalty often depends on your usefulness. Value those who stay when you have nothing to offer. Lesson 95. Sometimes peace costs you your pride, and pride costs you your peace. You can be right, or you can be free. Argue, defend, prove, and stay trapped. Or let go, walk away, and protect your peace. Choose what matters more, your ego or your evolution. Lesson 96. Not everyone deserves to hear your side of the story. Let silence clear your name. Sometimes explaining drains your soul. The truth doesn't need defenders. Time reveals all. Dignity often lives in silence. Let your peace speak louder than your pain. Lesson 97. People love when you're honest until you're honest with them. Truth sounds like hate to those who live in denial. Speak it anyway, but don't expect applause. Real honesty doesn't win crowds, it filters them. Say it, stand by it, let it sting. Lesson 98. Your silence will protect your peace more than your response ever will. Not everything deserves your energy. Most arguments are traps disguised as conversations. Learn the power of walking away, quietly, strongly, finally. Your peace is louder than your voice. Lesson 99. Some people only love you when they need you. Their kindness is currency. Their love is a transaction. The moment you're empty, they disappear. Real ones stay, even when you have nothing to give. Lesson 100. Time doesn't heal everything. It just teaches you how to hide the pain. You don't move on. You learn to carry it differently. Behind your smile lives a story no one sees. Healing isn't forgetting. It's becoming stronger with the scar still there.